Now, Mrs. Mackenzie, how old were you at the time
Was
when
27 years of age.
27?
Yes.
And I understand that, ironically enough, you were going to sail on the Oceanic on April 13th.
Oh, yeah. Yes, that's what I was doing. I had booked for the Oceanic, but the coal strike was on, and they had to use the coals from various boats for the Titanic to make her maiden voyage. And therefore, my trip was cancelled, but I could come on the Titanic or wait for a later boat. But I wanted to get out here early in the spring, you know. I decided to come on the Titanic. I thought it would be nice.
Were you as excited as everybody else aboard about the Titanic?
Oh, no. How could you get excited? No. I thought, I was composed. I thought, well, this is death.
No, I'm talking about even before it hit the iceberg.
Yes, I was quite excited, actually.
Right.
Telephone ship, largest ship in the world. Oh, yes.
Now, could you give us the brief story of what happened to you when you learned of the ship was sinking? Where were you at the time aboard?
Well, I was in bed, sound asleep. But when we took on a passenger in Southampton, her name was Miss Nora Keane. She says to me, "Oh, glory be to God, I should never have been on this ship. It will never reach New York." And she happened to be my roommate. And every time, and the poor lady, she had a very unhappy trip. She could not get that out of her mind. She knew we'd never reach New York. Fortunately, she did reach New York. She lived in Pennsylvania, Wilkes-Barre.
Okay, who warned you that you had to get out of there? What happened next?
Well, everything was in order, but later on when they found that she really was going to sink, they gave an order, all passengers put on your life preservers, get up on boat deck, leave everything. And they said it was a precautionary measure. And naturally people thought we'd get help from other ships, but at that time there wasn't a radio like this, wireless like this today. Today, such a thing I don't think could happen. And when you go back 65 years, we did not have the things we have today. We didn't have Marconi at that time.
You were traveling alone at that time?
Oh, yeah, I traveled alone.
I see.
Coming out to my married sister.
I see. I understand that the men were literally throwing women into the lifeboats. A lot of women wanted to stay.
Nobody was thrown in the lifeboat. Everything was in order.
There was no panic?
There must have been panic at the very last, but I wasn't about any panic. I just saw one lady that panicked, but no. And when I left, the orchestra was playing a very nice tune. It was playing a waltz. No, I didn't see any panic. People were very serious.
You mean there were people that did not know that the boat was sinking?
Oh, they must have known. You know, after you can't be on a ship for 3 hours. But, a couple of hours of not knowing.
Did you know that one of the facts that they have down here is that the Titanic was able to carry 3,500 people and only had lifeboats for 950 people to escape?
Well, it had everything according to law at that time. Accidents never used to happen, And,
that's right.
They were very wonderful boats usually, and well, it was an act of God, I think. I can't think of anything else. Everything was against the poor captain. And the water never was as calm as it was at night, and never was it as cold in that area, and never were icebergs in that area at that time of year before. So everything was against the poor captain.
Did you ever meet the captain while you were sailing?
I was second-class passenger. They're too busy to bother with all the passengers. It's equivalent to a big hotel, and it was a maiden voyage. You open up a hotel, and every lad on that boat were strangers. Well, there's a lot to consider, an awful lot of work to be done.
That's true. It was a big job.
Yes.
Okay, now, Mrs. Mackenzie, you were on the lifeboat, and they're rowing you away. Did you watch the ship go down?
Surely did.
What were your feelings?
I just thought, well, this is it. And I couldn't help but think of it. This is it. I had witnessed boats at the boat show, sinking, and I thought it's just like I've seen. We used to have that on the river, and in England, I've seen boats go down, and that's just how the Titanic went down. Only, of course, she was much larger.
Have you ever met any of the other survivors?
Yes, I met them about 4 years ago in Connecticut, and they're going to have a convention again this year in New Haven, Connecticut. I met that, I forget, I can't remember names now. Anyway,
But
I met, there were 6 others. There were 7 of us there.
Uh-huh.
But to my knowledge, 4 of those have already passed away.
I see.
Since then.
Have you ever been back aboard a ship?
I crossed the Atlantic 10 times since then.
You have?
Yes, sir.
Well, Mrs. Mackenzie, let me thank you for talking with us this morning.
Oh, you're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good luck.
Thank you.